Hello and welcome. This is Gregory, and thank you for joining us. This is 1 in 20 D&D, and tonight's game is set in the Kingdom of Agick. It is a 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons game. Our players this evening are, as usual, Kyra, being played by Michelle. Kyra is a drow druid. We have Matthias, being played by Patrick. He is an Aasimar barbarian. And finally, we have Farron. Farron is being played by Reed, and he is a half-elven sorcerer. So, what has happened so far? Kyra and Farron found themselves returning to the surface after being stranded somewhere in the Underdark. They managed to find their way back to the top world and found themselves at the base of a cliff. They wandered south, having seen something glinting off into the distance and believing that perhaps they might find some kind of, community or something of other people, a town, a castle, who knows, but they saw that glint in the distance and decided they would head that way. They came to eventually, after a few days' travel, the outskirts of what appears to be a walled city with a castle tower inside the city walls. They found an inn on the outskirts and kind of got rest, and a decent night's sleep, some good food. The next morning, when they woke up and were having breakfast, the doors to the inn kind of swung wide as this towering barbarian strode into the room, having run through the night like a marathon runner and seemingly barely winded from his exertion, but powerfully hungry and thirsty. So he sat down, had a drink and something to eat. And while they were all kind of sitting and having their breakfast, a small boy ran into the inn. Now, there were other people inside the inn that were having breakfast, coming down from their rooms or coming in from out on the street, sat down, said their hellos, and had something to eat. One of those being one of the city guard members that they had seen the previous evening. And a small boy ran into the inn looking for him, saying, "Hey, there's something going on." When the adventurers, the city guard man, ran out to go to the gate to see what was happening, and the adventurers kind of poked their head out to see what the fuss was. They saw smoke rising up close to the city wall and not far from where the inn was. So they decided to investigate. They kind of went jogging towards this smoke. They encountered a fire elemental and several smaller fire elementals, and basically did combat, handled the smaller elementals pretty easily. The larger fire elemental decided it was done dealing with these guys and took off running. Then they were greeted by the gate captain, Bryce Honeywine. He met them and asked, what was happening, and he kind of flirted a little bit with Kyra and thanked them for helping out. And the guard that they had met in the inn, his name is Gerald, he was also there and said, "Yeah, I saw them in the inn. They're adventurers." And so they talked briefly, and Captain Bryce decided he would talk to you. He would ask the adventurers if he could meet up with them later. He would see if he could arrange for the group to get passage into the like a writ of passage to enter the city. Captain Bryce had a nice conversation with them. He arranged to he did get the writ of passage for the group. Had a quick conversation with them and mentioned a few things that have been happening. One is that there apparently seems to be some kind of a cult that has been starting to rear its head, and it seems like it's been causing some trouble to the city. There also apparently have been some raids that seem to have coincided with this cult starting to make its presence known. They believe that they were raids by orcs from all the reports that they've received so far. This was out to the east in what are called the mounds. He also said that if the group was interested in perhaps making a little bit of coin, there was a reward for the head of the orc chief. And he also, almost in passing, it kind of occurred to him as he was on his way out of the inn after having had a nice lunch with the group, that there was apparently there was a temple in town that had been having some trouble, and he thought maybe the group would like to see if they couldn't help out and perhaps again find some coin there or earn some coin there. And last but not least, he also mentioned that of course there is a mercenary guild that they could go and look for work. He kind of left the group with that, hoped that he would be able to see them again, and he went back to his duties. The group decided they would go and see what was happening at the temple. They proceeded into the temple district and found a temple to Miliki and talked to the headmaster or the head priest of the this small temple, who happened to be an elven gentleman, and he said that there apparently is a very old crypt. So old that it doesn't really bear any markings, so they don't know what family it belonged to. And it's probably almost or nearly as old, if not practically older than the city itself. Not a huge crypt, but apparently he was getting some kind of an ill omen or ill vibe, an ill feeling from this crypt. And it's kind of tucked away against the castle wall, very kind of at the back of the graveyard. The party proceeded to the crypt. They kind of started, the hairs kind of rose on their arms and necks. They kind of got a sense of the same kind of like just a sort of dark, cold feeling. Something just didn't quite feel right as they approached. There was an old, somewhat rusty gate door at the surface level. They pushed that open and only opened a few inches, but enough to get themselves inside. When they went down the short flight of steps that they found right behind the door, it led down to a lower landing. They found another iron door in the landing. Now, on the landing, this lower door, there's no apparent keyhole, nor is there any kind of a handle. However, there was a symbol, and it's actually in your, let me show this to everyone right now. It is in your handouts, which is kind of, if you scroll down towards the bottom there, right below the characters, you'll see the handouts. And this is essentially what you see in the door. It's right in the like right at eye level of say an average human. So 5 foot to 6 feet, somewhere in that range, off the floor. And on top is this kind of large circle with 4 other circles inset into the middle. Below that, there's another sort of panel with similarly shaped circle, or similarly sized, I should say, circles that bear the letters SEWN. And the only thing that the head priest had kind of said was, let the compass guide you, or something in that regard. So he kind of gave you that little bit of information of, let the compass guide you. And this is the image you guys see in front of you on this door. So you've walked down this stair. You all have dark vision, I believe. And so you didn't... I don't recall if you created a light source. Actually, yes, you did. Matthias had cast light on his on the top of his quarterstaff, and you guys kind of snuck down quietly to the base of the steps, and you're kind of looking at this door. Clearly, this is the way to gain entry. So, any thoughts? What would you like to do?
Okay. the four letters, are they removable from where they currently are in the door?
They don't appear to be removable. You kind of look, you can't really grab an edge on it, and even if you try to like stick a dagger in there maybe and try to like pop it out or something, they do not seem to be removable.
I'm gonna look at it and just go, I'll cast Prestidigitation, and I'll create a symbol on the top one that looks exactly like the N in the spot where.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's awesome. Do me a favor and give me an Arcana check, please.
See if it does anything. That is not great. 11.
So when you do that, the the N the N on the bar also seems to kind of twinkle with magical energy, and
That's what I
you
thought.
so you're pretty certain that the space and the letter are connected, but how to connect them is not immediately apparent.
So it started to glow a little bit.
It's actually the others didn't see anything. It was more of like this kind of like vestigial, like when you're casting the spell, you just get this sort of like almost like an energy feedback or something like that. Like you something kind of like triggers in your magical awareness. You're like there's that letter and this space are definitely connected.
Hmm. Well, I can do that 3 more times. It's not going to be enough to fill all of them, though.
Let's see.
Seem to have like some kind of effect. We know that
But
the slot where the N goes, they're linked.
does the glow fade?
Well, there wasn't really a glow except for the glow that Farron created. So Farron
It's still
created
there. It lasts an hour.
yes, there's sort of a glowing N that looks identical essentially to the one on the bar, but it's just apparently it's just sitting there. It's just sitting there and glowing.
Let's see.
I'll just do it 2 more times and do um, S and E in their
Okay.
respective slots. S down the bottom, E.
Okay, you're getting okay, you're definitely this is definitely you're on the right track. You can feel it. Like magically again, there's sort of this sort of like feedback kind of thing. You're like, okay, these are definitely the right, they're the spots. This has got to be a compass wheel somehow.
Okay.
Does it do anything if I just physically push the one at the top and then in at the same time?
It does. When you push them, they both glow.
Ah, well done, Kyra.
All right. So let's do the same with the other three slots.
You push the S and hold the spot on the bottom, hold the circle
On
on
the
the
bottom.
bottom, and an S appears. It's actually different than the one Farron created. So
Okay.
it's almost like there's a double. Same thing with the N. There's almost like a double image.
Well, I'll
Okay.
drop them.
And then
I'll turn them off.
when you hit the E, you said S, E, and N, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you hit those three, they all light up.
All right, well, might as well do the fourth one then too.
You press the fourth one. The fourth one lights up. Then you hear a slight grinding, clicking.
I back up about 3 feet.
Sounds similar. It's almost like what you would imagine to be like a a lock dial kind of thing, like
Right.
back and forth kind of sound or something like that. And then the door just slides to the left.
Well, if there's anybody that didn't speak common, they'd be stuck.
So it was intended. I probably should have said this. It was intended that these letters are like archaic, right? You know, it's like you can kind of tell what they are, but they're like the old version of those letters.
Okay.
Or
well,
if they didn't read any books about ancient history, they'd probably be stuck as well. Lucky for you, I speak both and have read lots of books. Is there anything on the other side of the door?
Yes. So when the light, let me check something. When the light penetrates the space beyond the door, let's see. You are greeted by
A lich.
Hello,
welcome to my home.
the air is cold and dank. There's almost like a vacuum of pressure of like when the door first like shifted, there was like a poof and like dust and this cold dank air kind of poofed out on this in the slit on the side of the door. As it continues to slide across, you get this waft, and it's not pleasant. You recall what you had experienced when you were in the caves of the Underdark. That cool temperature of being underground. It gives the air this kind of, I want to say stale, but also like a sediment. Like it's like it's flat. There's kind of almost a flat smell to the cold air underground.
Stale.
This is musky. It's foul. Make everyone give me a perception check.
This is why I elected to go deal with some orcs, because we don't have to go underground again.
20.
14.
Perception, 17 plus 7. 24.
So Kyra and Patrick, you smell decay. It's almost especially to you, Kyra. It's almost offensive to your nose. It's like you smell something like rotten, and it's so along with just the kind of like dusty, musty, old smell. There's something that stinks like
Zombies.
garbage or something.
No, I'm just kidding.
You don't know. Maybe
Does it
there's
smell like
just
the bone,
trash.
The bone pit that we're in?
Oddly, did you mention anything? Or you just kind
I
of like
say a curse word in undercommon.
So
And I say I don't want to go down there. It's just stinky. It smells foul, like something died.
Well, we're already here.
it is slightly
It's a
reminiscent of the bone. Yeah, well, that's what I was gonna say. It is a crypt. It is slightly reminiscent of the bone yard you were in underground.
Honestly, I think it would be even more unnerving if it smelled like flowers and stuff down there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, it's also very old. I mean, should it smell like rotting? I mean, like
Oh, I just smelled
this is
stale.
they were saying like hundreds of years or something, and hundreds of years old shouldn't be smelling like this.
Well, I mean, there might be a hole someone fell in a week ago and is rotting. I don't know.
All
There
right.
might be more than one way in.
What
It is old. It is when you see a short corridor. I'm going to describe this as I'm getting ready to switch you guys over to a map. You see a short corridor. the bricks and blocks, just like they were kind of outside the crypt so far, are similarly old, worn. Not worn in the sense of like they've been traveled on a lot, but weathered is probably a better way to say. You can see where water has been, over time crept into the little cricks and cracks. There's small bits of tendrils of roots, from perhaps trees that are in the vicinity, or maybe they're just small weeds and such that have wiggled their way down into these crevices and cracks. There's it's a small corridor. It's about 10 feet wide. It's just a hair over 8 feet. They're about 8 feet tall. So just comfortable height for a person to walk through, even if they're a tall, even like you, Matthias feels, he doesn't feel cramped in the space. It looks like there possibly were some kind of hangings on the wall way, way back, but there's just like debris on the ground. But you could almost see where there looks to be like a nail sticking out of the wall, where maybe there was a tapestry or something like that hung in ages past. The light your staff casts is eerie. It's reflected off little bits of moisture, and again the little trickles that are coming down just from nature. When it rains, you believe when it rains hard here that maybe they seep through into this crypt. I'm going to bring you guys over and...
Okay. Well, if moisture got in here, that would help explain the smell.
Well done on solving the puzzle.
We are still very stealthed, because I still have a puzzle to trace out.
You will probably see nothing more than a blank space at the moment. And the reason for that is I would like to know your marching order.
I'll be first.
You see, essentially, the corridor goes about, let's see, it appears to go just to the edge of your light. You think you make out a wall just on the edge of your light.
Okay, how far does my light go anyway?
Well, I can see 120 feet. So when I look inside, do I see anything?
It's hard to see with the light source right next to you. It kind of counterbalances your dark vision, so you can't really see beyond the kind of extent of his light at the moment. If he covers it or extinguished it rather.
Okay, so my light spell goes out, bright light to 20 feet and dim light another 20.
Right. So 40 feet beyond, maybe just a hair beyond that. You think your cat? It's almost like like the out of game player knowledge. Like the reflection you see off of a headlight, not a headlight, but like a reflector. So you see a reflector off in the distance. Do you see that? Like you're shining a flashlight or something at night, and there's something reflective out 40, 50 feet away, 60 feet away from you, and you kind of catch that reflection shine back.
So you're saying that even though I can see that far, because that light is on, I cannot see that far? Is that what you're saying?
That is correct. When there's a light source right next to you, your dark vision doesn't work beyond, the light source.
Okay.
Because the light is tricking your eyes.
Okay. Well, since I can see in the dark at the 60, I'll go ahead and drop the light spell for now and see if we can see anything more. Because in darkness we can see is in dim light and shades of gray.
Mm-hmm. As soon as you cover your light or just turn it off since it's a cantrip. You guys see that. Oh, again, I need a marching order. Dang it.
Well, I know we
Somebody
haven't
said
walked
they were gonna
anywhere
go.
just yet. We're just kind of standing looking before we've like completely
Yeah.
walked in the
I
door.
would be going first because
I'll be in the middle.
sneaky.
Okay. All right. So, you step forward. I'm going to allow the others to see what you can see for a moment. It's not working the way I want to at all. All right. I'm just going to rejoin as the GM here for my image on the screen, and we'll see behind the scenes for this episode. So, anywho, you guys walk into this corridor. You see down to the end. There's something glinting. As you step forward, you start to see what appears to be... There seems to be bodies piled into the this corner. There's a small alcove, and it's about 20 feet square. Roughly, if it was completed, although the corridor kind of pokes into it, so to speak. So you see this sort of, this alcove off to the side of the corridor. It turns around to the, let's call it east, since we came in on the compass directions. And you see, essentially, there's just these old bodies. They're kind of like, they look like they might have once been well ordered and kind of respectfully placed, but at this point, they're just like a jumble of bones and rags. The glinting you guys kind of saw was the reflecting off of like small items of like tarnished jewelry, or maybe like a piece of crummy old armor, where it just happens to catch the right light. Even though it's rusted, there's that one little spot that's showing true. So Farron, that's what you can kind of see beyond the torchlight. Michelle, I think maybe you should be able to see beyond the torchlight, because I'm thinking about it. I don't know. It's hard to say. When you're outside with a flashlight, it's kind of like it fades out, and then you really can't see beyond the flashlight, right? Even though during the day you could see. So
it's a bit like.
But that's a human.
It's described in the book like it's dark vision is like looking in like a moonlit night. So if you're at like the full moon's out and you've got a torch, you can still see, like, and not like a flashlight torch, like a actual like lantern or like a fire torch. You can still see beyond that. Like we have campfires out here all the time, and you can still see.
Yeah,
you'll be sitting around the campfire. You
it's
can still
dim,
see
right?
Past the light. Yeah, it's just gray.
Right,
Just like
exactly.
full moon.
So you just didn't see the details of what was there. It just looked like earth, and because it's all the same color, essentially. It was all the same hue, so to speak, because it's all the same temperature. When you get the light up to there, now you can kind of see what's happening. I've adjusted it so you guys should have the vision beyond. Yeah. Michelle, you as well. Kyra should have 120 feet now.
I need to check my health. My health's not right.
Okay.
Let me fix it.
You bet.
'Cause
Yeah, you all
we
should be
at full health. So
yeah.
I'm gonna see what's going on.
Yeah, because you guys had a long rest, right? After you talked
Yeah.
with the captain, you had a long rest and then came in the next morning
Had
to
some
talk to
pie,
the guy
went
that.
to sleep.
Right.
Yep.
Exactly. All right, so you see this corridor. So now down the other direction, there is a corridor as well. There are carvings on the wall. Again, it's old. You have no idea what these carvings are. They appear to be humanoid, but are they deities? Are they some famous individual a long time ago? Are they the person who was entombed here?
Before
My wheelhouse.
we start exploring any deeper, Can we check and make sure these bodies are just bodies?
Mm-hmm.
So don't get.
I'm going to be looking at these inscriptions on the wall.
All right.
You guys can check the
Roll
bodies.
investigation.
I'm gonna stand behind the barbarian.
What should I roll for checking the bodies?
Investigation.
Investigation.
Mhm.
Okay.
I'm just gonna be kind of while he's checking the bodies. I'm just gonna look around to make
Well-
sure
well,
nothing's
what are
gonna
you-
walk up on us.
Right. What specifically is Matthias looking for?
To make sure that the bodies are actually dead and not like undead waiting to spring up on us.
Okay.
Or lurch up on us.
So let's make this a religion check.
Okay. Same modifier.
Wow, nice roll.
Damn.
You are very, very certain these are just bodies.
Okay.
They're dead old bones.
Okay.
There's no fleshy bits. Well, they all seem to be like maybe rat gnawed. You know what I mean? Like the critters got to them, so they're just old bones.
Okay. What do I see? What was causing that glint or reflective?
Yeah, I had said that there's like little pieces of like seemingly valueless jewelry or like an old rusty bit of
Okay.
armor or like maybe a spearhead where it's rusted, but there's like that one little sliver that maybe
Gotcha.
just didn't quite get tarnished yet for whatever reason, and
Okay.
and more moisture. The wall behind at the back of the wall,
Right.
there's still more moisture.
Is it like a slimy kind of, or is it like just like you're in a cave and it's like moist?
So the little trickles, that you might see, it's kind of like almost like mossy, slimy, whether it's actually moss or whether it's some kind of a chemical residue.
Can I just take a closer look? Maybe do like, I don't know.
Sure, give me nature.
or
Yeah,
something,
sure,
or-
sure.
Am I doing a history check on these?
Yeah, absolutely.
things.
Absolutely. If you're looking into them closer, that would be perfect.
Yeah.
Ah. They're walls.
Yeah, it just
It's a
looks
trip.
like it looks like you're underground. You're like we're under. It just looks like what you would see underground in a cave.
I
Or-
got a 9, and I'm not.
Yeah,
using
you
one.
you don't recognize these carvings. You don't recognize there's nothing about it to distinguish it. The only thing that you do see is that there is a repetition. In other words, it's not like
I don't
different.
know what it is, but
Yeah, you don't know who
there
it
seems
is,
to be
but they're
some
all the
kind
same.
of pattern. Maybe it's a story. It's like a pictograph story. Maybe there's a theme. There's definitely a theme among them all. So maybe it's something like that. I don't know though.
Farron, is that like a language or something?
Was it like a language, or was it like?
No, it's a carving. It's a carving of a like a person. They're a little bit
Okay.
old and crumbly at this point. A couple hundred years old. It's stone, so it's still in decent condition. So you gather that either the person who did the carving didn't have a great deal of skill, and or the stone isn't just great quality. So it's like
And there's no words.
there does not appear to be any words.
I would maybe hazard a guess that it's probably like who is buried here. If this is a family crypt, it could be each family member who's buried here. But
It gives
is there
you
history?
it gives you the impression of a colonnade.
But I don't know very much about it. Sorry. It's
Do the
minus
bodies?
this book.
You know what? Okay, since I saw Matthias looking at the bodies, Matthias, do the bodies look like human or elven, or what do they look like?
What do they look like, DM?
They do appear to be human.
Okay.
Actually, who's looking?
She was
he
asking me what I
was
was.
asking him because he was
You know what? So
Were they in? Was there enough of them to tell?
give me a perception check, please.
Sure. I ain't found shit.
The ones you looked at were human. However, there were, let's say, more than 10 skeletons probably. You didn't look at every single one of them.
And are they just kind of like laid out, like somebody threw them in there, or are they like properly like put?
They seem to be somewhat discarded, right?
Some of them. So it looks like there were some. Like it looks like maybe originally there were actual like what do you call it? Like the they were actually entombed properly. However, at this point, they look like they've been something at some point has disturbed them, and some of them are also like almost like piled up, like they were literally like they were discarded and just like thrown. You know, like it's like the closet where you just kind of toss everything in there. That's almost the impression you get when you look at it.
Looks like there's another large room up here.
So Farron, you start
stairs.
kind of peeking around the corners, and
It goes upstairs.
I'm just kind of like
Yeah.
having a brief discussion.
it goes
with,
down. This is going downstairs.
Down? Okay.
I'm kind of just having a brief discussion with Matthias about like, I mean, because so we found out they were like, this was hundreds of years old crypt. These bodies, you said they still have like a little meat on them. So
No, they don't. There's none. These are like just bones.
just bones. But are they like half broken, a little ashy? Like, are they all complete set? Because I mean, that would kind of indicate how long they've been there as well. I mean, I'm trying to figure out, have they been thrown away like in the last, 10 years or like the last 100 years?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to tell that, because that would imply that the conditions of preservation are significantly different where they were originally laid.
Was Kyra looking closer herself?
No, I mean, I'm literally asking Matthias. I mean,
I was checking to make sure they weren't going to pop up and attack us.
Yeah, he was.
I wasn't doing.
Yeah, I know that, but
forensic
I know that
analysis.
as a character. I don't know that as Kyra, so I'm asking you questions.
Right. I was checking to make sure they were legitimately dead. I wasn't doing a forensic exam on them. I was looking for signs of zombie activity.
I think it's a bit unnerving that we enter the tomb and immediately there's piles of bodies. Either this is a very, very full tomb and all the spaces are
And that
filled
was
up
the reason why I asked the question.
Or they moved these bodies out of the way for something else, and what that something else is a concern.
Or somebody has been using this tomb to hide bodies that they
There's that
needed
too.
hiding.
Which is the reason that I asked.
But it looks like they've decomposed.
If they've
quite a bit,
decomposed
so-
the skeletons, they've been either something did it to them like that artificially, or they've been down here a long time.
So you see, as you look down this corridor, that there is apparently a
You
rail.
said that they've been eaten by rats as well, so I mean that's
Yeah.
probably also why. So I would hazard maybe if they've been in it for maybe a year or something, year or more.
More than that, probably.
Well, if rats are eating them, then there would just be skeletons left.
Potentially.
Most of what Matthias saw were skeletons with little to no remaining fleshy bits or connective tissue. You see a rail. So the stairs go down. You can kind of see that there's a railing, and on the other side of the railing, it appears to open into a larger room and a lower room as well. You think you get the hint of what might be sarcophagi on the floor.
I see.
Are you being cautious, quiet,
We're still stealthed.
Okay, so everyone
Guessing,
roll
like,
a stealth
I am-
check
I'm-
for me, because you've done a few things, you've had some conversations. If you're trying to be sneaky, I would like to see.
Yeah, but
some.
doesn't your? I mean, like that lasts for an
My opinion-
hour, right?
Yeah,
I mean-
yeah, it lasts for an hour.
What does?
Pass that trace.
Sure, fine, but you are taking different actions
Yeah,
and doing
but-
different things, and
yeah,
you are
if-
having a conversation. So
If we start acting non-stealthy, then that's going to affect the base stealth reading.
yeah, so just everyone roll another stealth check, please. 21. Matthias kind of quietly tiptoes down.
That
the stairs.
21 is without the pass
31.
without trace modifier.
Right.
You're at 30.
31. Okay.
It fell on the floor, so I had to roll again. Wish I could have took the roll that fell on the floor. It was better. That's with.
Okay.
Ooh, me.
Kyra's ghosting down the steps as well.
Oh, it's not better than me. Huh. 33 with pass without trace.
Okay. All right. So you see as you come down to the bottom of this stair, you seem to have entered what must be the main crypt. There are two more of the statue carvings in the wall to the right. The steps go down, as you can see on the picture, on the map. There are several levels. And the lowest of them, there are slabs. Okay? They are not apparently sarcophagi. There is a... so at this point, don't move your tokens anymore, okay? Until we kind of... let me get through the description of what you guys are seeing.
Okay.
So there are slabs. So far from what you've seen, it looks like there are possibly 4 or 5 of them. One is kind of maybe off into the darkness. You see on 2 of them at least, you see mummified, essentially entombed bodies. On the other 2, there are no bodies. There are around the rooms, on the far side, there are several alcoves. In fact, they're stacked 3 high. It appears that, again, in some of the alcoves, there do appear to be bodies. Without getting closer, you can't really tell how they're treated, or if they've been embalmed, or if they've been wrapped, or what have you. But you definitely see them on the opposite wall. Around the base of the slabs, there are some like offering items you might see, like a chest or an urn. There are along the walls, similarly, there are chests. There are what look like, again, might have been tapestries or flowers or something like this that have long since turned into just dust, almost ash. The thing that's odd is, again, there seems to be bodies that are haphazardly placed in here, or perhaps even fallen or thrown into this chamber. Where you enter this tomb, and you think in a normal tomb you would see everything treated with a modicum of respect and ritual. This is odd, because you see that ritualistic, you see that respectful treatment of the dead, but it's counterposed or juxtaposed by these random bodies on the ground. Would you guys like to do anything?
I'm gonna cast dancing lights just over here.
Over where? Okay.
Do we see any rats?
Make perception checks. Kyra and Matthias. You don't see any, but you do hear the odd little squeak and squirk every now and again. As an aside, do you guys hear the music?
Yes,
Yeah.
I usually have it turned down.
me too.
No sweat. All right. So Kyra and Matthias, you it did so as you're beginning your quick preparation for the dancing light, and while you're in the process of creating it, you hear a dragging sound. Not like stone, but something is being like as if almost like the shuffling of feet or something like this.
Well, if I heard that, I would have stopped my dancing lights.
Okay. A moment later, you stop and you kind of like stop and listen. Pause for a second. Like, what was that? A moment later, you hear a voice. Why have you come into my home? You are not welcome here. Leave now.
Approximately where do we hear this noise coming from?
It's kind of got this eerie reverberation. You think it's coming from possibly the center of the room. There's shadows. There's creepy, you're not getting the full picture, so to speak, of everything. It sounds like it's coming from the big center of the room. A moment after the voice spoke to you, a creature, a seemingly humanoid creature stands up. Apparently was leaning or laying against one of the slabs. Points a long sword at you and says again, "Leave my home."
Did he respond to what I said?
He didn't seem to, if he you don't know if he understood what you said.
Who's he pointing it at?
Just like at the three of you. He's almost like pointing like sweeping across and pointing out towards the exit. Do you have the light going still? The light spell up?
I turned that off earlier.
Okay, so I thought.
I turn to Farron and I say in a common.
I just put my fingers up to my lips and go like, just...
Okay. You hear other shuffling sounds at this point. You notice that whatever this creature is, obviously pointing a longsword. He's wearing studded leather armor. Its face looks gaunt, sinister. You see movement on the far corner of the room. Another form, what looked like it was just a body slumped into the corner, kind of takes a half step forward or lurches or sways. Just for the sake of deciding what you guys are going to do, let's go ahead and roll initiative.
Well, I'm basically moving up to here to
Right.
see if it realizes I'm there.
Well, it said this before you you guys, while you were standing, I mean, I kind of let that slide where you just moved down the steps, but when you were at the top of the steps a moment ago, that's when it started to talk with you.
Yeah, I know, but then it kind of pointed. You said it pointed its sword over towards our general direction, so I'm gonna head over to there to see if it like follows me at least, or if it doesn't know we're there. It just kind of senses at least somebody, or
his head is the sword is still pointing towards the exit, and his head is turning as you slowly try to inch down the steps.
Wow. Perception. Initiative.
There we go. Okay. Matthias, you had 6. And Michelle, I'm waiting for Kyra's initiative. Oh, there we go.
Yowza.
Did you roll, or are you using the...
No, I when it's initiative, I'll use it on here just to make it easier for you.
Okay.
That's why I can see it.
Yeah, I know. My name is 7.
Well, better on the initiative than on the
I'm
other
sharing
ones.
an image of what he looks like. So that's kind of what you see. Seems to be wearing studded leather armor. Warrior-like.
How decayed does he look?
Not tremendously, but he doesn't look happy either. He doesn't really look decayed, actually.
And from the level we're on right now, how far of a drop is it to the floor where he is?
Kyra, so hold how far of a drop? It's like
We're talking 10 feet, 20 feet?
It's like from this upper level, the first landing that like where Kyra is, it's a good like 15 feet.
Okay, what about where I am?
Let's call it 12 feet from where Kyra is. From where you are, it's 6 feet.
Okay.
Okay. The other creature in the corner definitely looks decayed. If you've never seen one, you've probably heard tale of one. It looks like what you would probably guess a zombie might look like.
Okay.
After he doesn't respond to Kyra in Elven.
Yes.
And apparently he can see me anyway. I'll say to him in common, I'll be like, "Greetings, good sir. We mean you no disrespect. We acknowledge this is your house and your home. We're just here to determine whose house this is. It's been quite a long time, and records have been lost, and we're not quite sure who actually this place belongs to anymore. Perhaps you could assist us with that, and then we'll be out of your hair."
He says, you hear some more shuffling from different parts of the room. He says to you, "This is my home. I know not what you speak of."
Well, what is your name, good sir? Unless it's my, then we'll leave and tell the city that this is Mai's house.
I need a moment.
I don't think this is the kind of guy who just...
That is not Kyra giggling.
This isn't the kind of guy who just leaves well enough alone, though.
He says, so you asked him his name.
Mm-hmm.
He says, "You do not need to know my name. All you need to do is leave now."
Well, we're kind of on a job. We need to know your name so that we can leave. If we don't know your name, then we can't leave.
He says, "I have no idea who was first buried here, but I have claimed this as my home, and you shall not leave." And that's
Well, you
stuff
asked
is
us
gonna
to leave,
happen.
and they were saying-
Yeah.
So now
Enough-
he's
enough talk,
now
he's
you
gonna
shall
get
no longer leave with your lives, and that's
All right.
stuff's happening.
He's toast.
Well, that's just rude then.
It is, isn't it? It is a bit.
Okay, 2 zombies. 1 something else.
I'll turn to Kyra and say in Elven, I miss people being
He's
cordial and
going
polite.
to. He
And a nice say back in Elven.
He got tired of you. He wants you to leave. You didn't leave, so he draws us. You see, he's got a quiver on his back. He pulls. He sheathes his sword, takes his bow, draws an arrow, and takes a shot at one of you two. Since you two were the ones talking with him, and since Matthias is right in the front, he takes a shot at Matthias. And actually, he takes 2 shots. So 2 arrows zoom through the air at you. One is going to miss. The other is a 18 versus armor class.
That hits.
Okay, the first one was a 9 versus armor class. So I assume that misses. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
That is going to be... ouch! 10 piercing damage.
That's unpleasant.
He is done. Farron, you are up. What would you like to do? You just see Matthias, like, one arrow kind of goes whizzing over both of your heads. The next one tags Matthias in the shoulder. He barely... Matthias is a strong dude. He barely budges, but he kind of grunts because it was a solid hit. You see it kind of poking out of his shoulder.
Well, that's rude. And I guess if you claimed this tomb, then it's not yours, so we'll just be rid of you then, and I will cast Catapult at him. Just a
Alright.
level 1.
Which way are you casting it?
Just this way.
He's got to make a dex save, correct?
Yeah.
I think he might have made it. He made a 19 save, so it does
Yeah.
not have any effect. It goes smashing into the wall behind him. He's apparently pretty agile for an apparent undead. Kyra, I wanted to mention also when he started talking to you, when you first saw him, one of the things that Kyra noticed is that when you're a druid and you're kind of tuned into nature, and when you encounter like you could on some level you can feel your two companions, and you can kind of sense the rats and spiders, and you kind of get there's that spark of life, there's that essence that you kind of instinctually, subtly feel. This being, there's none of that, which is what indicates to you it's undead. Same thing from the zombie that you see and you hear. It's like you hear it, you see it, but you don't feel it, and it's kind of unnerving. Did Farron want to do any bonus actions or any movement?
No, that's it. I'm done.
All right, so next is Matthias. Yeah.
Okay.
You're bleeding slightly from this puncture wound in your
You
shoulder.
said it's about 6 feet down to the floor?
It is. There is. You do see that there's some debris right below you.
Right. What about the square just north of that?
Yeah, if you wanted to, you could probably jump into that space.
Okay. Do you want me to roll any kind of a check to see? Or...
I think you're probably good. Let's just roll athletics just to make, or actually let's make it acrobatics, because I'm assuming
Okay.
you're kind of like vaulting over. Yeah, you land like it wasn't.
Really
and-
got changed.
Not even. That was more to just see if there was like you slipped on a banana peel, kind of.
Right. Okay. That's
Like,
1, 2, 3,
so you land. Hold
4.
on. Wait. Hold on. As you land, you are immediately confronted by a standing, not lying, skeleton that has weapon in hand, and it is clearly a skeleton. It has a short sword, and it's wearing scraps of armor.
Okay.
It's menacing. You
Does it have a shield too?
You hear the chattering of its. It does not have a shield.
Okay. All right. Well, then I will go ahead and rage right
But
here.
your battle instincts let you kind of alert you to the fact there's a threat, and if you move beyond, you might get swiped at.
Right. Okay. Well, I'll go ahead and rage right here and then attack the skeleton.
Okay.
Okay. Great hit. Crap damage.
You slash out at it
7 total.
for 7 slashing damage. It is. Let me double. Okay, perfect. You knock it a good solid hit. You see the arm that's not holding the shield clatters to the ground, a useless hunk on the floor. It's rattled, but it still stands strong in front of you. It reacts, apparently, possibly had saved its moment of initiative. It is quick. It swings back at you with its short sword and hits. And you take 4 piercing damage as it stabs out at you with its short sword.
Is that before the resistance?
Yeah, that's total. So you'll take 2 after your
I'm down to 37.
Mm-hmm. And all right. So did you have anything else? You've done you're done. You've done bonus movement. Oh, you do have some movement if you want to shuffle around it.
I don't want to. No, I'll stay right where I am.
Joke. Kyra, you are up.
Okay, kind of looking at the situation and going, this is not gonna be fun. I just kind of take a step this way, and I cast like this from here to here, here to here, and this whole complete lovely box right here. I cast web.
It's 50 by 50 or 40 by 40.
20.
Or sorry, 20 by. That's why I'm counting it as 10 instead of 5. It's 20 by 20.
Yeah, I'll show you the
Web fills a 20-foot cube.
Got it. Okay, so you're gonna try to get both of them inside the web.
Yes.
Okay, can you click on the spell for me?
Yeah, I am. I'm trying to find it.
No sweat.
See if the webs aren't accurate.
Wait, they didn't. Hold on, I didn't say all. Didn't show all of it. It's being stupid. People get advantage on them when they're
Web
inside
circle.
of there.
I love it.
And they ought to make when they start their turn, they're gonna have to make
They make a dex save on the start of their turn. If they fail, they're restrained until they break free.
When they're restrained, whoever attacks them inside there has advantage on their attacks.
Ooh, thank you.
Hold on. For some reason it's not showing up the whole thing. I'll get the rest of it out there so that you can read it. Just for the moment, it's being stupid. Yeah, I don't know why it didn't pull out the whole thing because it's stupid.
Okay. It's restrained, huh?
Yeah, they gotta make saves. Here, I'll show you.
Disadvantage. Dextrose attacks have disadvantage. Enemy attacks have advantage. Okay, super. Thank you very much. Okay, so there's actually, you notice now that another one starts stumbling and slipping in the web. That was against the wall. Okay. What's your DC on that?
I'm sorry, I'll tell you. 15.
It appears that, and that's a dex save.
Yes.
Okay, so
And it's when they start their turn. So I don't know.
Oh, not when you cast it.
No, it's when they start their turn. So even if they're gonna walk through it, they're gonna have to. I mean, they got to do it until they get out of there. So if they don't walk far enough to get out, and they start their next turn in there again, they're
Okay.
gonna have to do it
Well, functionally, okay. So did
So
you
it's
have
up to you.
any other actions or anything you wanted to do?
That's all I could do. Unfortunately, I wish I could do more.
Okay, so the zombies, two of them. Okay, the green one appears to be webbed. It starts. The only reason you actually the kind of the thing that brought your attention to it is it started like stumbling as it tried to move forward.
Oh, so I didn't even know it was there. So he's now there.
So there is another one. The other two apparently have no problem.
All right, no problem.
This one, they're kind of dumb, so it's just gonna go, and it moves over to here, and then over to here, and I gotta check their movement. Their movement is, oh, it's only, ooh, it's not even. They can't even get that far. What am I talking about?
It's gonna have to. Maybe
So
when
he
it comes
gets
back
to,
around
he
again.
gets to about there. He's heading towards Matthias and gets to about. Let me just double check. No, he does. Okay, so he gets over to there. That's what I thought. So he gets over to like here. Heading towards Matthias. Nothing. That's not enough. So he's just gonna go ahead and move his full movement and get right up next to you. The other one will do the same. But he actually stops right there because of stuff. All right.
It's really funny. It's like they're lying down, just like scooting around on their backs.
I'm sliding over.
I know. Sorry.
It's just a thing lying
ridiculous.
on its
The white is going to. He thinks that he's got his minions taking care of this hulking man on the floor. He's going to go ahead and he's going to do a couple things. He's going to take 2 shots at Farron with his bow. Natural 1 and a 14 plus 4 is 18 versus armor class.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
normal.
so 1 hit, you take minimum damage. You take, I think that was 4 or 3. You take 3 piercing damage from a grazing shot. Kind of skins by your neck and just barely, just draws blood. He then is going to move his.
It's a paper cut, but still.
Yeah, that didn't feel nice. He's going to move, and he's going to move to. He's got the standard movement. That's what I thought. He's going to move 30 feet, which is going to be to like. Yeah, that's what I thought. So he takes. He starts heading your direction. He moves up to the top of the stairs. And he says, "My minions feast on their flesh and smash their bones." That was them, and then this.
Should be me.
Nope, it's the skeletons. So there is another one over here that starts shambling to follow his master. Matthias, you didn't see this other one was right next to you too when you landed in a very, very bad spot.
Well, gracious.
I think I can handle the guys down here. Just deal with that. Deal with the talker.
So this guy what's the skeleton's movement? 30
You might want
That's
to
what I
take
thought.
care of the minions first.
Okay, so
50 attacks.
he moves.
His attacks hurt a lot.
I'm sure they do. But he probably takes a long time to take down, too.
He moves up alongside his master, and he takes a short bow and also shoots at Farron. And misses. It goes clanking off the wall behind you. Crunch, clink, clink. Alright, so I just realized I had a blank screen for a while, so anyone watching the video, sorry. And here we go. So that's 1, 2. Okay, so 2 of them take short sword attacks at you, Matthias. Both, I think, miss. Does a 13 hit your armor class?
AC 16.
Yeah, okay, so they both miss. So they're just swinging. You're kind of dancing around them. It maybe one swipes over your head as you duck. The other one slashes down or stabs out at you. You kind of juke to the side, and they both miss you. So that's 3 misses for the skeletons, and all right, Farron, you're up.
So I said that before. I was like, quickly becoming outnumbered. I think I had better even the odds a bit. And I will spend 2 sorcery points to quicken a spell. Down to 2. And I'm going to cast Mirror Image.
Nice.
I love that spell.
It's a good one.
So that was a bonus action. So I still have my action.
Zap that sword wielding guy.
I could help you. Seeing as
That's,
they're all bunched up on
what
you.
are you going to do as a bonus action?
I'm okay down where I am. Don't worry about me.
All right.
These
That
guys,
was
are
a
just,
bonus action.
these guys are just cannon fodder. I can deal with them.
Oh, you
Mirror
did.
image
You
was a bonus
quickened mirror image. I got you.
Cost 2, and then I guess I will. As my action, I'm gonna Ray of Frost the big dude.
Excellent.
So okay, this is something that's come up in a different game that I've played. If you cast a spell, even if it has a bonus action as a time, you can only cast 1 spell per turn unless it's a cantrip. Is that a cantrip?
Yes.
Yeah.
It is a cantrip.
Yeah,
just,
I know that.
Just double
I
check.
know the rules.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you. I didn't realize that when I was playing the other day, so I just wanted to make sure we're all
no,
on the
if
same
you cast
page.
any spell as a bonus action, you can only cast a cantrip as a
Perfect.
action.
So it's
Unless you're playing in Matt Mercer's game, in which you can.
well, again, some people they don't have an issue
Yeah.
with it.
Yeah. Some
It's just
folks
because they had 8 people in their turn. It's like, oh,
Yeah,
you
he's
have
trying to
1 turn,
speed it
it's
along
finished.
for sure.
All right, so I'm attacking Ray of Frost. Yeah, that's gonna hit. That's 17 plus 8.
And who were you attacking
I
with
guess
the
it's
Ray of
on-
Frost?
Big dude.
The leader.
Yeah.
So that definitely hits 17 on the die plus 8, being my spellcasting modifier. So he will take 2d8 because I'm level 5. And his speed is reduced by 10. I'll click it so.
Okay, yeah, I was just gonna say if you don't mind.
Don't worry about I'll have to fix that spells stuff.
All right.
He takes 3 cold damage. Probably could have gone with the 8, but oh well.
Yeah, they updated the sheets recently, so you can go in if you want to roll your own dice. Just take out the damage in the spell. But I knew you were
Yeah,
gonna do that
they
anyway. So how much damage?
3.
3. Okay, and let me just double check. Yes, you definitely hit him, and he takes 3 damage and is slowed by 10. All right.
And then I would like to move up to here next to Kyra.
Okay. It seems like it didn't really phase him, aside from him being slowed. He doesn't seem to be happy about that, and he's got the snail.
That was a bit disappointing.
Then you
Next
move
time I'll
back
do better.
to
I
Kyra.
say to Kyra as I stand next to her.
All right, Kyra, what would you like to do?
Oh wait,
Oh wait, I'm sorry, it's Matthias. I had the thing.
Okay. First things first. Let's see what I
Yeah,
want
I know what I'm gonna do. Especially since nobody's around in my web anymore. It's okay. It's all right.
All right, I'm just gonna attack the same skeleton again.
All right. Do you have multiple attacks?
Not yet. Not
Right,
until
okay.
level 5.
Oh. Oh, that's right. You're just a hair behind Kyra and
Yeah.
Farron. That's right. Okay. Super. All right. So go ahead. Make your attack.
17.
That hits. 8 damage.
8
Does
points of damage.
more than enough to crash it. You swing with your battle axe across, or as a great axe, excuse me. You swing with your great axe across, and it just like slices him in half. You like make perfect contact with the vertebrae right below the rib cage, and the thing folds in half and falls to the ground in a crumble of bones. First one down.
Just so you know, password data trace is still up because I haven't done anything that uses concentration.
All right. Anything else, Matthias?
Let's see. This round thing in the square to my left, what is that?
It's like an urn. It's a
Okay.
fairly sizable. It's maybe like 2.5, 3 feet tall, about 20 inches or so in diameter.
Okay.
So
At least
it's-
nobody can stand there.
yeah, exactly.
I mean, like a brazier
Unless you
or
want to kick
Like
it over.
surrounded.
They could
country.
theoretically they could kick it over, but
Okay.
it's ceramic. It's
All right, I'm good where I am.
all right. Spectacular. Whoops. Okay, so now Kyra, what would you like to do?
Okay, I'm gonna kind of say, well, that didn't work out quite like I thought. So, while you are webbed, sir, I'm going to throw some flame on you, and I'm gonna do a produce flame on this little web guy over there, since attacks are at advantage,
Okay.
and since I'm level, why is it not showing any of the? Okay, I don't
Have
know.
you got it on?
I do. I have.
Yeah,
I even checked. That's
It's all
dumb.
right. It's all right.
Okay. Well, in other
I
words,
can pull it up.
30 feet, I can hurl.
So
Do a spell
you check the
damage
range?
to it, and at level 5th level, it increased. So, which is cool. So I'm just gonna roll 2, take the highest, since he's
There's a little,
all nice and
there's
webby.
a little tick. So underneath the spell description, like says duration blah, and then it has a little spell description up in the top corner above the scroll bar. It's
Mhm.
got a little tick. It has
Yeah.
that ticked. Okay.
That's
Well,
what
then-
it. That's what it has. It's just not doing it because it's.
Yeah, that's weird.
That's why I said earlier I checked it, and
Oh wow, it like
same thing with
turned
web. Like I checked that one too, and it just
Okay, so make your attacks
here.
with
I mean, I'll
advantage.
post it. I don't know why it's.
It's fine. I got it. I have it right here.
Okay.
And
all
what
right,
level did you cast it?
No.
Oh, it's a cantrip. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's a cantrip, and
But you
I'm
do-
5th level, so
yes,
it's, I
2d8,
do 2 days.
right.
Okay, so I'm gonna just roll this and spell attack on that guy. Good. I rolled a natural 19, so that would be
That'll hit.
19 plus 7, so 26. Okay, and so let me roll my 2d8. And since I'm just curious. If I poke flame on him, and I guess he doesn't really catch it. Never mind. Never mind, because he doesn't catch it on fire. If he catches it on fire, then he'd be able to. That web would be on fire, but he doesn't catch on fire, so it doesn't matter. 8 damage of fire damage.
All right. I think that is enough to do him in. Let me check.
And if he does dissipate, I'm gonna go ahead and. as a bonus-
Actually, it's not. That was a zombie, not a skeleton. Sorry. So it takes the fire damage. It's definitely ended, but it seems to be still standing.
Okay, that's fine. That's all right. What I'm gonna do I was gonna do something else, but I'll leave it and just be like, help me kill him quickly. And I don't really say anything other than that. I'm done.
Well, we're about to have company.
Yeah, I kind of figured that. Ugh. That's it. I'm done.
Okay. All right. Now it's the zombies' turn. First for the green dot, he's gonna try to save. It does not save. It's what's your DC? Is 15?
15.
Yeah. Okay. He does not save, so he is still stuck in the web.
Actually, I don't know if he redoes the save. I think he makes strength checks.
Yes,
Oh, that's right. He's still even with the strength check, he did not make it out. Thank you for reminding me.
Yeah. You only make the dex save once. After that, you're making strength checks to try to get out.
Where's the text?
And the webs are flammable. Any 5-foot cube of webs exposed to fire burns away in 1 round, dealing 2d4 fire damage to any
Strength
creature
check,
that
spell
starts to
D.
turn the
Okay,
fire.
so he needs a beat of 15 with a strength check. Okay, so he did not. So he's still stuck in the webs. The the other two zombies. One is just kind of sitting there. He can't
Waiting his
get to
turn.
you. He's kind of standing there, shambling like uselessly, because
Maybe
this
it's
other
like-
skeleton's in the way.
Click it on it.
This one is gonna shift over to here. Oh, that doesn't make sense.
You'd be standing on the skeleton.
Well, that's no problem. You can do that.
Well, the blue one could probably kick the urn.
Don't give the GM ideas.
I don't care if these
Yeah,
guys
that's-
gang up on me. I can handle them.
Well, that's
Breaks
functionally
breaks
what
his-
he was gonna do. He just shambles forward to try to attack at you as well. All right,
Yeah, he
so
Can't do it.
blue and green. Oh no, blue and
Red.
red. Why is that guy?
You've got a green zombie and a green skeleton. That might be what the confusion is.
Let's try it. There we go. All right. So the blue guy and the red guy there are taking swings at you. I think they both miss.
16 to hit.
Yep, they both. They don't even. They're just like these kind of slow, lumbering, horrible.
What I wouldn't give for a wall.
Trying to slam you with your fists, right? All right, so they are functionally out of it at the moment. Then the well, you don't know what it is, but the leader, he's gonna move as far as he can, which is about
10 less.
there. And again, take 2 shots at. Well, let's see, one. Odd is Kyra, even is Farron. It is Kyra. He takes a shot, 2 shots at. So 2 arrows come whizzing at you. One misses. It goes wide to the right. The other one is a 21 versus armor class. I think is going to
Definitely
hit. So you get pierced by an arrow, taking 5 piercing damage.
Ugh, wish I had hellish rebuke right now.
All right, and I had forgotten. I apologize. That's the top of the marching order. I mean, not the initiative order, and it is like almost 10:30 here. Let's take a real quick 5-minute break, bathroom, water, whatever you guys need, and come right back.
Okay.
Okay.